Good evening, my name is Mr. Drayton and welcome to Jesting About!
In December 2010, Jesting About arrived in Newcastle.
It's Deck!
The BBC and Northern Film and Media had decided to work together to discover fresh comedy talent in the North East. New funny voices to entertain the whole of the UK.
The most important thing is, you know, for content and programmes and things, is talent. I'm just very keen to see the next generation come through.
So, what numbers do you need?
Okay, a 4.
A 4 is £2.
That's great. And then it's a 2.
Right, that's £4.
A £4.
For the 2.
Oh, that's brilliant.
The North East really was an area that's sort of still underdeveloped, and so I think it's an important voice, and I want to hear more of it back in our comedy.
My phone's rubbish, take it.
Have you called the police?
You're joking? The 9 button doesn't even work once, never mind 3 times.
Literally hundreds of people applied, and there's never really been an opportunity like that before, so this for the first time was saying, here's how to get in, and if you're funny, that's all we want.
Jesting About offered 3 separate schemes for new comedy talent. For more experienced writers, there was a chance to develop a script for a TV sitcom pilot. Secondly, there was a half-hour BBC radio comedy show to write and record. The third scheme was to develop short online films for the BBC website. All 3 projects were to culminate in a showcase event in April 2011. So just 2 months before, an intensive programme of selection, support and development kicked off.
We've had over 200 sketches sent in, and we've boiled that down to 12 writers and performers.
We didn't want to get, the really experienced people who've had loads of theatre and TV on before. We also wanted to look at some of the stand-ups and some of the comedy writers in the region and give them an opportunity through the radio network.
All we're trying to do is connect people in such a way that they can really capitalise on it and win some commissions so that they can develop the talent and develop the relationship with broadcasters.
From my point of view, I'd like to think that it might just help some talented people to get a feeling that it could really happen for them.
It's poor organisation again. This is why I suggested we wear name badges.
We're not wearing name badges.
It's the end of day 1. It's been a really, really great day. It's great to see everybody kind of coming in the morning slightly nervous. As the day goes, you can see their shoulders relaxing. You can hear more and more laughter, which is fantastic.
Ready, Hilda?
Yes.
You're not going to stick around for your share?
No, I'll only go and blow it.
Thanks very much.
Today, Ross Noble's coming up to work with our radio team, and it's a really, really fantastic opportunity. He's never done anything like this before.
I was asked to come up and talk to these new writers about what they're doing, about how it works, what goes on, behind the mirrors, behind the magic.
It's interesting to hear his opinions and different ideas, and he's been very good with the sketches that we're going through at the moment. He's giving quite a lot of feedback and suggestions.
We are here in the studio at Live Theatre. We are just about to start recording the radio part of Jesting About in front of a live studio audience.
And joining the writers and performers is one of the finest actors to have come out of the North East, Mark Benton.
When you're reading it cold with no audience, it's very difficult to know what's good and what's not, and invariably when you do it in front of an audience, you get shocked because the things you think are surefire laughs don't get a laugh, and things you don't think are that funny get the biggest laugh.
Right, or double your meat.
I'm sorry?
Double your meat.
In what way?
Double your meat.
Sorry, I'm not quite...
Double your meat. Double it.
Double it?
2 meats for £1 more, your meat's doubled.
Final thoughts. Lovely audience, very supportive, and there were some really good scripts, and I think it'll make a fantastic radio programme.
The Jesting About radio programme was broadcast on BBC Tees on April the 22nd and on BBC Newcastle on May the 2nd, 2011.
Writing for online is such a bespoke skill. It's, you can write for sketch shows on TV, but the audience for online is entirely different. You really do have maybe 10 seconds to really sell the idea to an audience.
It was 1987, November, I think, I can't remember the date. Anyway,
I sent Vic Reeves' production company an email just saying, can we animate Vic's book, because it's just brilliant. And they let me do it, and so that's essentially what I've done. I've brought to life about 3 minutes of Vic Reeves' autobiography.
Yes, it was the night of the big wind. The one that Michael Fish didn't predict.
Hurricane on the way. Well, if you're watching, don't worry, there isn't.
We've been able to persuade people like Jelly Legs, Baby Cow, Channel K, all to take part in the scheme and to help develop the talent, mentor talent.
I paired with a mentor, an individual mentor, and Jill Isles from Baby Cow was given to me, who's like obviously more than I ever expected. And she's been brilliant in terms of just pulling the whole thing together, and it wouldn't have been possible without her. So I mean, Jesting About, in terms of the support, it's been massive.
But now to our exclusive interview with controversial Spanish star Alan Flores.
He asked me where I'd rather be, and I winked and said, "Try red and white," meaning Arsenal. The next day, I was in Middlesbrough.
The first one we did is called Heckle and Died with Ross Noble, and he told us his favourite heckle, and we've animated it, which we've done with Alex Collier from Viz Comics, and it's turned out really well.
One of my favourite ones was at the Theatre Royal, and there's this big commotion on one of the balconies. She kept shouting, "Does anyone know Peter? Does anyone know Peter?" And it turns out this woman was shouting, "Does anyone know CPR?" And somebody had choked on a Malteser. Because I kept going, this bloke was choking, but he could still hear the show. And then at one point, he laughed, and the Malteser flew out. He was fine.
The third scheme in Jesting About was to assemble a team to write a pilot for a BBC TV sitcom.
I think there was around 20 or so scripts that we've got onto a long list, a long list. And then whittled that down to about 7 or 8.
We've got Ian Lafreniere to look at the guys' scripts and choose the kind of most promising one to create using the team writing showrunner, which is a kind of American style of creating sitcoms.
Will we like each other? Will we fight or what? It's a real challenge for all of us, and we're all up for it actually.
Well, we've got a script from the initial concept. It's all 5 people have contributed and it's been stuck together like Frankenstein's monster, and is every bit as ugly.
Today is a very exciting moment in the Jesting About experience because we've got the legend that is Ian Lafreniere joining us. I expect Ian to come in and give us a real push on the momentum to move the script on.
Having a regional voice with characters, I always find, is fascinating, because the great thing about Britain is every region is so unique.
Back in Newcastle, and it's time to sharpen those pencils.
People are working really, really hard. I mean, there are people who already look slightly ashen-faced with creative exhaustion today.
And more help is at hand from some industry professionals.
The fundamental thing about comedy, the clue's in the title, you know, it needs to be funny. Follow the funny, look for the funny.
It was a very difficult brief that I think they've done fantastically well on, because they'd created a very good world and they'd created some very good characters.
Well, it's fantastic having Michael in the scheme because he's got so much clarity about what needs to be done that we can't see.
It'd be wonderful if suddenly there was a commission for 6 or 8 episodes. That's my dream for 2011.
By April, the Jesting About teams were ready to showcase some of their funniest work to a 200-strong audience in Newcastle's Tyneside Cinema.
I mean, that said, he did have a heart attack in front of Countdown.
Mrs. Batchelor.
Ms.
The most important thing about Jesting About was to give people a range of different opportunities. You know, people are working on lots of different platforms with lots of different technologies, reaching audiences in all sorts of different ways.
And it doesn't stop here. Jesting About continues to support and promote a new generation of Northeast comedy talent.
This is perfect, you know. Come up, you know, see what's up here, see what's on offer, because it is a massive, untapped source of talent.
I'd like to be able to sit in my home and see some comedy on my screen or hear some comedy on the radio that came from this Jesting About initiative. Anything less would not be good enough.